Hello, Leo, and welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. Quick reminder, this reading can be used for sun, rising, and moon, and it's going to help you navigate the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's get started with channeled messages. Every night before I do one of these monthly readings, I tune into the sign that I'm about to read for, and I ask for messages. Here's what I got for your sign. The first thing was actually quite auspicious. I watched in dreams as I saw two different rocks placed into my hands, and I realized they were diamonds. There were rings with them as well. So there's an opportunity here for a partnership of some sort. For some of you, it could just be a friendship. There could be a business partnership. If you're looking for love, it's a great time for that. Now, the interesting thing is these were unpolished, uncut diamonds. So they just look like rocks, but I knew they were diamonds. So there's a little bit of work to do, a little bit of chipping away. Some of you may meet someone who's guarded, and they just don't want to sort of put everything out there immediately. So this is a month to build trust, to chip away at some of those harsh sort of protections that they have on the exterior and see the diamond within. Something very similar came through in the weekend when I was talking about a geode, but this was specifically diamonds this time around, and I did see rings. So there is a chance for, if you can get past that external barrier that I'm seeing, a good partnership to form. There could also be in existing relationships for those of you that might be partnered up, or if you're working with someone, or if there's a close friend, and there's a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of rockiness. It feels like you can get through this. But again, it's about chipping through some of the defense systems that we all put up to protect ourselves, and just letting people see you for who you are, and likewise, seeing past that initial first impression. There also could be an opportunity that is much more it's richer, it's something that could be more exciting than you might initially intuit. So we're looking beyond the surface, across the board, making sure that you're doing your research, that you're asking questions, that you're not going on maybe projections or preconceived notions. You really want to follow your gut. If there's something that tells you, I don't know why, but there's something here, follow that intuition. It's a chance for you, this is the most important takeaway, it's a chance for you to flourish. So basically when you put pressure and heat and do this over time to carbon, that's what creates the diamond. It's just a transmuted state of carbon, and it's stronger and more clear, and we go from this sort of like shadow to light energy. So if you're put to the test this month in any sort of capacity, you have this ability to shine and to come out clearer and stronger. That's what a diamond represents. So I think the first and most powerful symbol here is amazing, and it's a great way to kick off this month. I put Two of Cups, but we could also put with this like the Ace of Pentacles, because Earth is definitely connected to the diamond symbol as well. Because I saw the rings and the two diamonds, that's why I chose the Two of Cups. Okay, a revolving door. I was simply shown this door that just kept spinning, people coming in and out. In your life, there could be comings and goings. You might be, there could be people in your life that transition into spirit. There could be a boss or a coworker that exits, and then new people coming in. This is basically cyclical change, but I did feel something coming from the past too, which is why I put the Eight of Cups. And also Eight of Cups represents cycles that repeat. And I was left with this question as I focused on this. Are you happy with the current situation and energy? Does it feel good to be in this cycle? If not, you can always go the other way or stop the door. This is a chance for you to really speak up and communicate your comfort with whatever it is that you're in right now. There may be, like I said, a lot of opportunities coming and going at the same time, so knowing what you want is going to be important, and that's a nice segue into this. The last thing that I saw before I woke up was an elevator and a very brief conversation. This is an elevator pitch, basically. And that word is thrown around a lot, but basically what it means is sometimes people will ask you in as few sort of words as possible, or in a minute or less, what's your idea? So an elevator pitch is being able to break it down in a very short matter of time, like what it is that you want in life sometimes, or at least in one situation. So I put some bullet points to help you prepare for maybe this elevator pitch moment. Some of you already know what it's going to be about. Maybe there's an important conversation coming up. in a relationship or at work or at school? What is it that you stand for? What is it that you want? And why should the other person listen? That's what they want to know. What is this about? Why is it good? What am I going to get out of this too? So get these sort of bullet items ready, and they're going to be a little different for some of you, but basically being able to get to the point and do so succinctly and persuasively. This is the most important thing. And in the essence of not going into that too much, that's the takeaway. The more you think about things, sometimes the more you complicate it. So just push that button in the elevator, say what you need to say, and trust that that's all that you have to do sometimes is just state your intent or your wish or your desire. Let's go ahead and shuffle the cards and see what specific messages are coming through, again, for the month ahead. All right, close your eyes if you will, and let's please take a moment to clear any thoughts that might be in your mind. We're going to call in angels and spirit guides to bring in the highest messages for your highest good and see what's in store. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Wow, some major healing already coming through as we're looking at this. Got the Eight of Cups there, nice synchronicity with what we were talking about in channeled messages. Justice, also synchronicity. And a nice card to end on there with the Ten of Wands. Let me just clear all of this out. Definitely a lot to talk about this month, folks. Let me go ahead and finish up all of the extended forecasts, and then we'll get into this. Okay, we got a volunteer on this one. All right, let's take a look now at your two catalyst cards that came forth. We have the Destroyer, and then we have this Divine Timing card, Kairos. They both came in sort of like on an angle, but the circular cards, I just read them as upright energy. So with this card, first and foremost, the Destroyer is absolutely connected to your environment, death, change. Ends and beginnings are often one and the same. This is kind of like that revolving door energy that I picked up on, where there could be multiple comings and goings this month. And then we get a Divine Timing card. This is right now. This Greek word basically is connected to a favorable or divine timing, and it's basically encouraging you to make a change. And for some of you, that's like saying goodbye. For some of you, this could be like terminating a contract, deciding to move, ending something so you can start something new. Again, there's a connection between the two, and there may be a combination of the two this month. Something that may seem like it's a end all be all actually brings about something better. You're basically being encouraged to walk through a portal this month. And as we look at the cards, we'll see where that's taking you. I'm going to do a really high level summary for this month. First of all, there's three amazing cards here. We see an increase in your financial resources or just time or energy for you, and this is good. We see a wish fulfillment card coming through for you. So it's saying don't give up hope. Even if there's some challenges, your wishes, your dreams, your desires have a chance of actually coming true. And then we have a card of moving up, moving on, moving out with the Ten of Wands. So, and also getting what's due to you, fairness here and justice. Synchronistic energy with that one, and also synchronistic energy here with the Eight of Cups, because we talked about that. So Ending of a cycle, beginning of something that's more just, that really suits your wishes or desires, change ultimately for the better. There are challenges this month: self-confidence, healing, a revelation of someone's true characteristics, and also kind of recovering possibly from stress or overworking or sickness. But when we're looking at the overarching trend, we do see things coming through that are going to support you in the future. All right, that's high level. Let's go to the Three of Swords and get a little bit more granular at the center. Three of Swords in the reverse position represents healing, but you've got to let go. And that's the hard part, is letting go, right? She's holding on to this Three of Swords in the upright position. Reversed, it's just about saying goodbye to pain as a teacher. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the experience. I no longer want or need the lesson anymore, universe. And you can also just start to really calibrate your worth. And that's what these two together are about. This often comes through when there is lower self-esteem or self-worth, and it can feed into this. But the fact that this is reversed, you're resetting it and you're saying, that's no longer enough for me. And that could be like what someone was willing to give you in a relationship, what someone might be paying you at work, whatever it might be. Even just you've outgrown something. Kind of like clothing. You can outgrow a living situation. Any experience in your life, there's something now where you realize your true worth and capacity, and that's going to help you move on. So focusing on your mind, body, and spiritual health and happiness first and foremost. It is the foundation upon which all else is built. Some of you may also need to focus a little bit more on your general emotional and physical health. This can be, again, recovering over a setback, like moving past a setback, or there could be something going on with blood pressure, blood sugar, or basically the health of your heart, so you want to focus on that. But for everyone else, it's just letting go of a painful situation and saying, you know what, I deserve more. And that's going to be one of the biggest challenges and opportunities this month, is basically speaking up and saying what it is that you want. That's the elevator pitch, folks. Someone may be coming through thinking, well, why should you, get more? Are you really ready for this? And you're going to have it all together so that they're not going to have questions after that conversation. Yes, because, and then you can say, when, how are we going to make this happen? This also represents healing a wound from the past. For some of you, it could be a past sort of situation with a close relative, a family member, a teacher. There's something that kind of stuck in your emotional it's kind of like a little bit of a scar or a scab on the emotional heart. And this is a chance for you to fully release that and either see the person in the past as someone that was flawed with their own issues, going through something, or maybe have a chance now to bring it up and say, I really need to get this off my chest, and maybe talk it out with the person or with the therapist, etc. When it comes to finances, you're finding better balance, and you're not going to engage in things that either push you towards that sense of not having enough, or again, just allowing people to take more than they should. For many of you, you're just going to say, no, this is how it is, this is what I need, and you're going to seek the balance and the justice that you definitely have earned and deserve. Here's the biggest challenge, karmically speaking. 10 of Swords. Some of you worked yourself too hard. This can be a burnout sort of energy. I do like that we see a raven or a crow that's rising up, that's not sort of beholden to those 10 swords. It's not in the back of someone here. So this is a chance to say, for many of you, I see the pattern and I don't want to repeat it. You could see an argument before it ever happens and just take the high road. This is in hopes, fears, and opportunities. You're not going to argue. You're not going to take the bait. Someone can say something insulting or cruel or mean, and the old you may have either listened to it or kind of like sparred back, and now you're just like, that's all you can do. That's really where we're going to go with this. I've got better things to focus on. You're not going to engage. You're not going to probably even communicate. You're just going to focus on something else. And that is a sign of maturity. It's healthy. For some of you, if it is sort of like abusive in any sort of capacity, you could also seek out help. Justice in the upright position portends very good things, and it's in hopes, fears, and opportunities. So there's a chance to break that cycle as well. I love what's coming through in recent past. You're already starting to see a little bit of this month. 9 of Pentacles is slow, steady, sustainable growth. And in the long run, it shows that you are set up for success. Whatever this was in the past, it does not equate to or define the present moment. Take your time, don't rush to the finish line, and know you are worth this. This is also fiercely independent. If there's anything that you want or need to do in this moment in time, you've got what it takes. This is really a card of success, and sometimes just the best person to do it is you. So don't be afraid to take the reins and really drive whatever this project or passion is forward. In the crowning position, we have 8 of Cups. This represents the breaking and making of cycles here. And with the Destroyer and the Death card coming through, if there's anything that you don't like, now is the time to change it. Nicely aligned to this revolving door energy that I picked up on. And if you look at these 2 illustrations side by side, she's focusing on the past, and this person is exploring opportunities in the future. And so you got to ask yourself if there is a chance to recalibrate and to get some distance. That's what I like about the traditional illustration, is this person understands it's important to get away from the noise, the projections, the stuff that's going on from day to day, and say, let me clear my head, let me clear my sort of intentions, and then let me check in and see, do I still like this? Do I still want this? So you absolutely have the capacity to make and break cycles, but I think the thing that is lacking for some of you is healthy distance or healthy space. And if you're in a relationship, this card can sometimes indicate on again, off again. So let's say you've been dating someone for a while, but it's not sort of official, it's not exclusive. There'll be periods of time where they're constantly like making your phone blow up, and then sometimes where it's like crickets, where are they? What's going on? And that can be frustrating too. So if you want something, it's a time to speak your desire, your wish, your expectation into existence. If you're tired of something being sporadic, it's also time to set that into motion and say, hey, enough is enough. And that's a part of this. I love that the clock is the main frame of reference here, because if we look at this particular illustration, it's kind of stuck in the energy of feeling like the outsider. She's starting to see it's time for something more. We see the tide changing, the tide shifting. And honestly, that might be your title this month. I really feel like the tide is turning in your favor, especially when we look at what was coming through in the recent past. This is just a little echo. This is what you've already got. We've got 9 of Pentacles, Justice, 10 of Wands. These are cards of completion and achieving, and there's a little bit of insecurity from the past, and it's time to let that go. Now, these are 2 of the most challenging cards, and they're coming through in the near future, but they're not so much for you. They're for somebody else. Because it's, to me, if we look at this, they're leading into the Death card here. And I feel like some of you are just tired of sort of a particular habit or a particular way that someone might be presenting themselves, and you're seeing through the mirage. So the 2 of Swords in the past could be something that you chose to ignore. That's actually what I'm getting when I look at this. It's sort of like you felt it, or maybe you glanced this personality trait or the situation, and you're like, maybe if I ignore it, it'll just go away. But it didn't. In a job, same thing. You're like, maybe one day they're going to notice me, or maybe one day the manager's going to get better. Whatever it is, you know on an intuitive level that it's not going to change, but the hope is that it's going to. And this month, we see someone trying to kind of get up to their own nonsense again. 7 of Swords reversed, though, means that they're caught, that you can't ignore it. It's the sort of get real moment that the universe really wants you to embrace. And the Destroyer and the Death card are saying, no more. You don't actually have the time for this anymore. There's too many good things that are happening. So whatever it is that you kind of knew wasn't going to change, but hoped that it would change, you are free to liberate yourself from that and say goodbye, good riddance, and move forward. And that's the big takeaway here. The only other thing that I can look at for you is don't ignore something going on in your body, and also stay accountable. You're not fooling anybody, including yourself, if there's something going on and you're trying to ignore it. So it's basically just be accountable, keep your promises, and don't ignore something little, because then it can sometimes go back into this. And I think some of you just don't want to have this happen again, whatever that might be. I don't feel like that will. I just think that there's something that needs attention. Give it the attention that it deserves and then move forward. Okay. What's coming through in the card that represents you? It's good, folks. It's the wish fulfillment card, 9 of Cups. We're going to look at this card, then we'll look at the traditional one. What I always love about this illustration is it reminds all of us that we don't have to relive a past experience. Like, you know, there's some people who maybe they peaked in high school and they're constantly trying to relive or regain that joy. Or, you know, maybe there's a sport athlete or a musician and they had one moment where it was like a big breakthrough and a lot of success, and then they're constantly trying to chase that one thing. Life is not about just those high points. It's about everything in between. Do the best you can every day, and know that there's going to be different moments that are on different sort of levels with the 9 of Cups. But it's just basically enjoying now to the maximum and not trying to chase an old high or an old achievement, because you're doing great, and it's not, we can't kind of constantly be in that high zone all the time, right? And there's going to be different levels of achievement and high and sort of star moments that don't have to be a repeat. So everything this month for you is about not repeating the past, not being stuck in a cycle, not ignoring something that has been cyclical, opening your eyes and embracing now and making something beautiful tomorrow as well. A couple of other messages here if we look at the traditional card. Try to avoid extremes, whether that's overworking, over-exercising, overeating, worrying too much, anything to an extreme. This card represents excess. So you want to take it back a couple of sort of notches. Anything in moderation is fine. And as I said earlier, this is your dreams coming true. And you have to believe in your dreams, because if you don't, I won't. And if you don't, it's harder for the universe to come through. And that also could be what the elevator pitch was about. Just really succinctly saying, I really want this and I'm really ready to receive it. And feeling that sense of worth. And we're seeing this year, it's kind of interesting. If you look in pop music, there's all of these great artists that have been working for decades to try to break through, or at least for 3 to 5 years, to try to break through. And all of a sudden, they're finally kind of getting their flowers. And that is because they didn't give up and because things just aligned. So you could be in that same sort of category if you just keep putting in the work. This is a card of celebration and success. And we actually have that here with the 10 of Wands here. We have you being able to accomplish something, being able to break through, and it's worth the work. Don't give up now, especially now. In the environment, we have change, transformation, death. So the death card comes through when we have to pay attention. Notice that the gargoyle up here is holding on to that broken or shattered clock. The time is now, and we got that. It's favorable. This card means a favorable change, a favorable end, a favorable beginning. So whenever the death card comes through in a reading or in a vision for me, I know without any shadow of doubt that time is now. Time is up, time is now, whatever. This is the moment. So if you tuned in today looking for that clarification, you can leave with that. It's the perfect time to start or to stop something. That's what we do with the clock, okay? There could be someone in your life that left, maybe broke up with you. There could be a divorce because justice is above this card. So there could be someone that just decided to legally separate. There could be someone that separated and went into spirit. There could also just be a loss of something, property, job, etc. But we see on the heels of this, things will be righted, or there will be balance. There'll be something bigger, better, brighter coming through, especially with the 10 of Wands. So the main thing for you to focus on is maintaining emotional balance, for taking care of yourself and going with the energy of change. And that's the main thing that I see here. There could also be stagnation in your environment, like things just aren't moving the way you want them to, in a friendship, in a relationship, or at a job. And this is also the time then to move on if that's the case. In hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the lovely and very sort of auspicious Justice card. It's in the upright position. He's holding the scales right here. People are looking for clarity, conciseness, decisiveness, all of that from you. if you're willing to say, this is what I want, this is what I stand for, we talked about this earlier, people are ready to listen, but they need to feel that sense of security and stability from you. If you're looking to create better balance in your life, you can accomplish that. If you need to seek out legal advice, or if you want to fight for something, go to court, the fact that this is upright really portends good things. Overall, we're seeing you accomplish balance. We're seeing you move from the pain or sort of like frustration of the 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords to this sort of sense of, I've got this. From anybody who lacks integrity to you displaying it and attracting it in the future. We're getting rid of these cyclical sort of energies, saying goodbye to this, trusting in your dreams, and bringing forth the balance that's intrinsic to the Justice card. There could be a Libra coming through in your life as well. It looks like it's favorable, again, since this is in the upright position. Let's talk about your outcome, which is the 10 of Wands reversed. Let's take a moment here and look at your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, because I think it does a very good job of showing what you want to avoid this month, which is trying to carry the weight of the world. In fact, if we look at your deep past, that's probably what this was about, burnout. So by letting go of this, you're going to avoid this sort of karmic cycle of overdoing it. And the main thing here is knowing when enough is enough, and also letting something go. Some of you may be holding on to something just a little bit longer than you need to, a project, a habit in your life, a relationship, anything. This is saying when it's done, it's done. It could be done in a very positive way or in a very exhausting way. And you are not Atlas like mythology. You do not have to bear the weight of the heavens. You can let this go, or the earth, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You do not need to carry all of that weight on your own. Delegate, say no, find balance in your life. Ultimately, though, 10 of Wands energy is very, very favorable. This is about completing something to a very good level. So if you're working on something, this is where you want it to go. It's ready for the presses, basically. This can also be travel in your life. So you might be ready to travel to a new place of residence or a new job, or you might be possibly even just taking that trip that you've always been dreaming of, because we have the 8 of Cups as well. So holiday, vacation, etc. In this 10 of Wands here, again, it's like time is the enemy, and it doesn't need to be. We're seeing the clock show up and everything, and I did see the last unicorn, so I know the reference point here. But as we're looking at these cards, different things are coming through, and I think for many of you, there's an arbitrary deadline that you put out there for yourself, maybe getting married or starting a family or getting a job or buying a house. Something needed to happen at a certain time. It could happen completely out of sequence. There could be something else that's thrown in the mix. Let go of the deadline. That's the main message there. All right, let's go ahead and expand this to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to focus first on messages around health. We got 2 cards on this one that also came through. So health is mind, body, and spirit, and we have the stag and the eagle coming forth. Let's look at them. So this is interesting. I mean, we have trust and thrive coming through with this. When I'm looking at the antlers on the stag, this is also about finding a way to connect to spirit, meditation. So in order to trust and thrive, it is also about trusting your intuition, your higher self. Thriving is really just being the best that you can, and I think slowing down long enough to basically take stock of the moment, appreciate the moment, and just be present. That's the big takeaway on this one, okay? Beneath it, we have the eagle and seeing it from a higher perspective. That, my friends, is why we talked a little bit about the 8 of Cups energy earlier. And if we look at this 8 of Cups, it helps the traditional illustration. To get that perspective, you may have to exit from a current situation in order to sort of see, like, why am I here? Why did this happen? Can I find a way to see a silver lining in this situation? So I've been talking about a recent experience that I had, which was just needing to move because my past apartment had toxic mold in it, and I had to let go of all my belongings. I was talking with a friend today, and I said, I feel so much lighter because I don't have anything except now what I need. And there's a certain freedom and liberation that comes from that. There's a lot of things I wish I could change, but in the present, I'm regaining my health, I'm working hard, I'm happy to be here, and I don't feel like I'm weighed down by a bunch of stuff. So I can't wait to get into the final space, wherever that's going to be. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying not having to worry about all of that. So that's my silver lining. That's a healthy way to look at something challenging. So maybe you can do that too, whether it's getting out of a relationship or a job or an unhealthy situation like I was in. What do you have now? And how much worse could it have been if you hadn't acted sooner? So there's always that silver lining. Look at that. Get the perspective. Trust me, it does help in the long run. I'm surprised at how again, it's not that that's easy. There was a lot that was hard that I went through, but I'm okay. Surprisingly okay. And I think it is because of perspective. So give yourself time to get the perspective you need in your life as well. Okay, let's look at the cards now and see some additional messages here. I mentioned this earlier. Don't ignore something. Something in the environment needs to go or needs to change. If you are severely unhappy with a work environment or a relationship, or if there's something in your health that just doesn't feel right, something has to change, and a move could help. The 10 of Wands, or travel could help, or getting the necessary distance could help. This in the environment is a brush with death. Death or destiny, I was going to say too, because the two almost kind of intertwine, so I'm going to talk about the two of them. Destiny would be a necessary change. So when you take the necessary change, you meet opportunity. And that brings us back to Kairos, so divine timing. And a brush with death could be something that could have done you in, could have created this sort of havoc that is part of the 10 of Swords, but you get out just in the nick of time. And I feel like you can get out of something before it gets to the point that it creates havoc. So pay attention to the red flags, to any colored flag that comes through, and say, you know what, enough is enough, okay? Other things that I see with this spread, just slowing down. The 9 of Pentacles, this is typically a woman that is gardening. She's taking her time, a little snail at the bottom. Time, patience, perseverance, slow pace. Anything you can do to slow it down a little bit and be more present is going to be very, very helpful. We're going to avoid extremes. We can even see one of the extremes here, which is sometimes drinking too much. But like I said, it can be food, exercise, work, anything to an extreme we want to avoid. Anything where you're just feeling stuck, it's time to change up the routine a little bit as well. Create necessary balance in your life. Whatever's missing, you're going to try to add more of that. Whatever's pulling you down, anchoring you, you're going to try to cut the cords with that. And not take on too much. For those that work in a sort of like a heavy lifting, like if you're working with machinery or if you're in a job where you're building things and you lift up heavy objects, really be careful with the lower back. But for the rest of us, it's just that emotional burden. I talked earlier also about the different types of 3 of Swords messages: emotional clearing, and then also cardiovascular health. Obviously working with a doctor when it comes to any change in diet or exercise, but that's something that you might want to look into. Let's take a look now at the energy of wealth. This is your resources, your life purpose, your career, and what makes you unique makes you basically powerful, popular, attractive, magnetic, and this is a time to embrace that. The card is reversed, and this reminds me a little bit of like the star energy reversed. Don't diminish or mute your light. Don't let anyone else do it either. So we have a word at the bottom, individuation, I think you say it, but it's basically the process of becoming an individual. And so for many of you, it could take a little bit of coaxing, a little bit of time, again, because of the 5 of Pentacles at the center, but it's a sort of cycle that you're starting to get through and realize this was in the past, this is the present, and I see my worth. When you can see your worth and see your place, it starts to get exciting. You may just be a little bit on the bleeding edge, like leading the pack. That is what 6 of Wands energy would be after all. And sometimes it's a little bit lonely when you're ahead of things, when you're leading the pack, but it's totally worth it. And that's the big takeaway here. You don't need immediate confirmation or affirmation as long as it feels right, okay? Artemis, of course, connected to the moon. And so for many of you, there could be a lunar cycle between what you're trying to create and between it coming to fruition. 1 or 2 months, depending on when you're watching this. Give it time. Again, leaning into the energy of 9 of Pentacles, which is slow and steady wins the race. All right, let's break it down into 3 major categories here. We're going to look at those of you that are currently employed, those that are job seeking, and then I look at students and retirees at the end. Okay, if you're currently in a job, There are a few different potential reads for this, so I'm going to do my best to break it down. Some of you are just ready to move on, okay? The Death card can represent feeling like you've done everything, and the Ten of Wands is graduation. So it's for many of you, you went into a career or a job or a path to achieve a certain level of knowledge or experience, and it feels like you've done that. So you have encouragement and permission from the universe to move on if you want to. For some of you, the environment in which you work, it's just not very conducive to happiness or growth as well. And for that reason, you're either going to stay and change it or move on. Okay, so definitely some challenges in existing work environments. The other thing that I'm seeing is people that just don't keep promises or aren't listening. So the Seven of Swords is a promise that is not kept or a person that can't be trusted. Two of Swords can be this feeling of not being appreciated. Here's the good news, and there is a lot of good news actually. Many of you have worked yourself way too much in the past. It hasn't gone unnoticed. Nine of Pentacles, I do see incoming resources. Justice, I see, if not here, then somewhere else. You have a chance of getting recognized. So if you're thinking of leaving, obviously get that hip pocket option before you do it. But I feel like now is a really good time to find something else or to take it up with another level if you want to go there. You could be working with HR. You could talk to a different manager. You could try to transfer. There are growth opportunities, but the current environment seems to have served its better purpose. If you're running a company, let's say you're an entrepreneur, then it's time to change things. The Death card, I mean, there's good cards here, but we're not seeing innovation. I'm seeing stagnation and possibly not listening or paying attention to feedback or industry trends. So now's a great time to get external sort of feedback and get that bird's eye view that we were looking at here. Get some distance from the current situation. The good news with Nine of Pentacles and Ten of Wands, I feel like you can bring it into balance. There could just be a lack of balance. For some of you, what we're seeing is just overwork. You've been kind of burned out, and this is a chance to just find balance. So if everything's okay, you don't have to work so hard this month. Don't tell your boss I said that. but it feels like you could pull back a little bit, and your 90% or 80% or 70% is like someone else's 110%. So you're over delivering, and you don't have to do that. Not all the time. It's like a long distance run, not a sort of sprint. And if you're constantly sprinting, you'll sort of like get exhausted. Okay, so that's the main takeaways that I'm seeing right here. But many of you might just be coming here for validation that it's okay to move on. Absolutely. Ten of Swords, Three of Swords, and Five of Pentacles. Some of you just aren't getting the support that you need. For everyone else, just fight for balance in your life and take a break. Let's go ahead now and change the focus to those of you that are job seeking. And remember here what we talked about in the catalyst. What makes you unique makes you stand out. So rather than trying to follow every single trend, rather than trying to blend in, make sure that if you have an online presence, that it's bold, that it's unique. If you have any sort of chance to have an in-person communication or even like on Zoom, make sure that the way that you dress, the way that you're speaking, it's authentic, it's unique, it sets you apart. These are the things that are going to help you stand out in the crowd. Some things to be mindful of. If there was a rejection in the past, whether it was being laid off, fired, or simply someone saying no, it was to help you align to this better timing here. So the destruction or the no helps you find the doorway or the opportunity. And this is a month of opportunity. At the negotiation table, some of you are going to land a job. Make sure there are two things that you want to look at. Pay, it could be a lot less than it should be. So advocate for more. There's definitely a big difference between the Five and the Nine of Pentacles. This is what you're worth. This might be what they're offering. They may not be disclosing everything at the very beginning. Some of you may have done some of your own research online and you found a policy or maybe even an incident in the past that they may be trying to sweep under the rug. This is your chance to really make sure that you know who you're connecting with on a contract level. Justice, negotiate. You've got it in the upright position. Make sure that it's fair, that it's balanced, that it's legal, that you're not getting into something that is anything less than this. Okay, fair. I think that it's time to try radically different areas. Like rather than constantly going back to the top 3 or 5 companies that you keep applying to, or even the same industry, innovation is key this month. Try something that you haven't before, repackage your skills, consider yourself either in a different geographic location, in a different area of your industry, or something completely different altogether. Being unique is key. This also is leaning into entrepreneurial energy. So if you want to start your own business, that's fine. Get a good lawyer. Take a look at your finances and make sure that you're not cutting yourself too short when it comes to contingency funds and things of that nature. But I definitely get a vibe that some of you are tired of working so hard for others and you feel like there's a lack of progress. So maybe you're going to try something on your own. Looks good. Let's go ahead now and take a look at what's coming through for students. Students, a couple of very high level notes. Some of you are overachievers. The big option this month is to pace yourself, to say no, to push back and not work so hard. Of course, I want you to be hardworking, but not to the point of fatigue or exhaustion. If you're unhappy, speak up. If you want to do something that hasn't been done before, find a place where that sort of path is embraced, and make sure that you're not muting that light, like I said before. The main thing for many of you is it feels like it's time to possibly just either take a lighter load class-wise, course-wise, the hours, or take a break. I mean, we are in the Northern Hemisphere anyway in the summer period, and so school usually breaks for about a month and a half to 2 months. Take the time and don't necessarily work so hard. Sometimes I say, get an internship, work through the summer, whatever. I'm not getting that for your sign. I think it's really important to rest, to recalibrate, and to ask yourself, again, what we talked about earlier, is there anything you want to change? Is there anything that has been bothering you? This is the time to process it so you can hit the ground running when you come back at the end of the year. Ultimately, it's just about creating balance in your life. And you've been working hard. You're aligned for that success here that would be the graduation of the 10 of Wands. But health matters. Students, we don't talk about this that much, but mental health is so important. Students get so much pressure that sometimes they just feel the sense of being overwhelmed. I'm here to tell you many, many years, many decades after going to school, nobody's asked me about my GPA lately. They don't really care what my alma mater was. They just care more about what I can do, what I've done, who I am. And it becomes a lot less important what you got second semester of your freshman year of college or something in a certain class. So I'm not diminishing the importance of any of that, but I'm also contextualizing it instead. Sometimes things seem really big or stressful, but 5, 10, or 20 years down the line, they will not be. So take a break and give yourself more credit than you may be giving yourself because you're working hard and you're doing great, okay? You may not have the financial or the emotional support that you deserve, so this is a great time to network and find people that see you for you. For retirees, do what you want to do here with this. This becoming an individual, we kind of get this, it's like a second childhood, right? When you retire. So you get a chance now to pursue a hobby, to learn something new, to hang out with people you never did before, and just really decide at this point in your life, who are you now? We never truly grow up. Like when we're asked as children, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do in this moment? What's the next incarnation of you? Because clearly, if you just retired or have retired within the past even 5 years, there was a death or a release of one of the layers of the onion skin, and now there's a new version. So you are not tethered by old expectations. Truly embrace the individual side of yourself right now, okay? And some of you may be more inclined to fight for change. Justice can do that. Fight for legal change, fight for social equality. You may want to downsize with the 10 of Wands in reverse. You may feel simply like you don't want to hang out with the same group of people. So changing up everything, that's the common theme this month. Now let's take a look at love. And this one kind of blows my mind because it connects with the visualization that I had of 2 diamonds. I'll talk about that in a second, but let's just read the card. So we have Sirius, which of course is this really bright star, and we have blessings coming through. Not only that, we actually got confirmation here. It says, yes, proceed, be seen, push through, connecting us to one of the dual messages in the catalyst that now is the time. Not only that, I'm kind of getting the Cher song in my head, believe. You can believe in life after love. So some of you have loved and lost, or loved and left, or loved and moved on, and now you're getting a second chance. Or there's even a chance for reconciliation, or a chance to love yourself, because that is the big opportunity that was presenting itself in the Five of Pentacles. So here's the thing that'll kind of blow your mind. If you Google what a black dwarf will be, so basically stars go through many phases. In smaller stars, like our sun, what will happen is in the future, it's going to eventually become a red giant. It will engulf the inner rocky planets up to and including Earth. And then at a certain point, it just releases its outer layers and becomes a white dwarf. And so the core is all that's left. And everything else creates this sort of gaseous cloud around the white dwarf. Planetary nebula, it's called. So then we have that cooling white dwarf that eventually, after billions and billions and billions of years, eventually becomes just a dark object, a black dwarf. And then that has crystalline structures, diamonds at the center. So I saw two diamonds, and I like to think of the old idea of a twin flame as binary stars, or twin stars. They both shine brightly. Neither needs to engulf or destroy the other. They're just two brilliant sort of energies. And if we look at past life karma, so once a star dies and is reborn, it's kind of that diamond energy. I feel like there's a past life energy coming through and presenting itself. We have the twin stars here, the destroyer. So there was something that was, now there's something that is. And in this, we have two stars. How kind of cool is that? This could either be like a, what is it, an owl or an alien? But anyway, I'm seeing this beautiful, brilliant energy of twinning stars. And now is the time to be the star. You're going to attract star-like energy from others. That was a lot. That was fun. I like to geek out occasionally on this channel. So anyway, now let's briefly look at different relationship statuses, and then we'll move on. Starting with those in a relationship, then we'll look at those looking for love and single and happy. If you're in a relationship, are there some challenges? Yes. For some of you, there could be an external source of stress. This could be, the Ten of Swords can be pain and sadness in the Three of Swords over the loss of someone you love, because it is in the environment. It does not necessarily have to be your partner. You could have lost a parent, a pet, a child, a friend, a job, something. There could have been challenges with your health. There could be other things going on, even with money. This is also, I didn't talk about it in health this month as much, but this can be like a broken foot or something going on with the feet. But anyway, what we're seeing here is this, this stress that's trying to create fractures in the relationships. The most important thing to do when the external stress comes in, take a breath, take a step back, speak the truth, and be there for one another. You don't have to bear this weight alone. This is a time to come closer through communication, through kindness, through love. And it's okay to feel whatever it is that you're feeling in this moment. Validate the other partner's emotions. And if you don't understand it, just ask. You don't have to, all you have to do is say, I'm here to listen. Maybe I can't solve it. Maybe I can't do anything other than to say, it hurts me to see you in pain, and I'm here to support you. Just validating that is sometimes all you have to do as a partner. So that's one message here. Some of you can't see a way through. There could have been an argument. I think the important thing here is to talk about what happened if there's an argument. Some of you also just feel like you've grown as far as you can. And it's okay if that happens. The Death card in the environment is just asking you, do you want to continue? Or if not, speak your truth. I don't see anything acrimonious on this. I just see that you might have to be the one that pushes through the stagnation, whatever it is. The reluctance to talk, the inability to sort of go any further. You have to speak whatever it is that you want into existence and move on from there. I think it's important not to relive past pain or to revisit a past argument. Where are you at now? Has the person shown the ability or the capacity or the desire to change? And if they have, focusing on that is going to be a lot more constructive. Okay, that's it. There's some external stresses and possibly some things from the past. The choice in what you want to do with that is up to you. If you're and if everything's going well, the main thing that I would say is focus on, I feel like it's time for a break. Some of you are just burned out and stressed a little bit. Take some time, enjoy one another's company, and do something different. Again, changing up the routine could help a lot. If you're looking for love, you can find it for sure. In hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have justice. I have the sort of twin stars here. I saw the 2 diamond rings. Some of you might be looking at, are you ready to be on the rebound? This could be a difficult breakup, but somebody came through unexpectedly, and you're almost like questioning yourself. If you feel it, you feel it. And sometimes love comes when we have written it off and we're like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then the person of your dream walks through the door. Some of you are experiencing that. So I get strong Libra energy associated with this. I get past life karma. I think that some of you are in this weird sort of disbelief energy, but it will be okay. Some of you might be deciding to move for love, and it's a fulfillment card here. So there's a lot to love this month, despite some of the challenges. I do think it's important to take care of your general health, your physical health, your emotional health, and anything that you've been kind of putting off. Take care of it now, okay? I know it has nothing to do with this, but it's going to put you on solid ground so that when that person comes walking in, you can embrace that opportunity. And for those that are single and happy, it's a good time to be so. You have a chance to shine in the spotlight. You could still be very sort of publicly active in your community, with friends, with family. You're really starting to figure out who you are, and that's a very attractive force, and that's why there could be more opportunities knocking, okay? Now we have it's another star, right? That's the sun here. As we're looking at destiny, it's where you're headed. Empowerment, success, happiness. There is a silver lining to everything. So when a star goes supernova, it gives birth to new stars. All of that planetary nebula, all of the gaseous energy, it eventually recoalesces and begins the sort of process of creating a new star. So you're in a reinvention period this month. You're either enjoying the success and deciding what's next, or you're rebuilding after something and you're setting up the sort of structure for the next big moment in your life. Wherever you are in this process, enjoy now and be yourself and shine brightly for sure. All right, now let's take a look here at sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what else Spirit wants to bring through. Sun, rising, and moon. All right. Starting off here with Leo's sun, we have the High Priestess. If you can see it, you can do it. That's the big takeaway here. This is a card where your thoughts and your words really can manifest. The High Priestess, of course, is also a great card for spiritual development. So if you want to lean a little bit more into religion, spiritual growth, metaphysics, absolutely. This is a creative card for those of you that are artists or writers or even build things. This is a time to really follow your unique vision, again, leading into the power that we had here of becoming the individual on Artemis, and focus on the possibilities. The other thing with this is trust yourself. This is the card of being psychic, of being a medium. So if you see it, if you see this is a good idea, I get a good vibe with this person, go for it. If there's a red flag or something coming through and you're like, uh-oh, listen to that. Really focus on your dreams, focus on any intuitive, clairvoyant vibes that are coming forth. And in business, just trust your instincts. This is a good time if you listen. If not, challenges arise, so listen. In rising sign, we have a chance to recalibrate. 4 of Cups is a hidden blessing. Usually that 4th cup is just right out of the line of sight. So people are focusing solely on what's in front of them. And it's a chance to look in every nook and cranny, to look at the silver lining, to really think beyond what's obvious. Also, with this card, it makes a case for not comparing your life to others. So if someone is doing better than you or worse than you, don't get in your headspace too much and feel bad about that for whatever it might be. Like they deserve more or you deserve more. Each of us, we're living our own lives. You do you. That's the big takeaway here. Focus on your life, and there's probably a hidden blessing or hidden opportunity when you start to bring the focus back there. Moving on to moon sign messages, we have the Hierophant in reverse. Some of you may simply want to be your own boss. I'll pull the traditional card while we're talking here. But the Hierophant is usually kind of like a papal figure, and just like the Pope, sometimes they're like, bow down and follow my instruction. But when it's reversed, you're in a place where you're thinking, I think I know best for myself, like what I want. And so some of you are finding your voice. Some of you are speaking up for the first time. And many of you may simply think to yourself, you know what? This was the path that was set out for me by my parents, by my grandparents, by someone else, and I don't want to do that. And that's okay, folks. You don't have to follow this rigid structure that's in this card. There are two keys here. You can follow his path or your own. And this month, many of you are choosing to do the latter. And so this is a chance to take the key. So we see this person looking at the key, thinking, do I want to do this? And the choice is yours, okay? But it is a rebellious, individually thinking card when reversed. It's thinking outside of the box. It's going against the status quo. And many of you may feel any number of those sort of emotions bubbling forth, and I'm just validating that. All right, now you have a chance to ask a question to Spirit. So if you have one final question, go ahead and formulate that in your mind right now. Let me shuffle the cards, and let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay, we have two cards, so I'm going to allow it. There are a bunch of twos. The twos are twoing here. All right, so the first one is success. I mentioned that sometimes being on the bleeding edge, leading the pack can be a little bit lonely. Well, maybe not for long, because we have the Two of Cups in reverse. If you're ready for love or support, say it in your prayers. Say it to others. You can even just say, you know what, I'm really ready to make some new friends, to start a new relationship, to forge some new alliances. You don't have to be alone in this anymore. Like energy attracts like energy. So when you're kind of rebellious, when you're a forward thinker, you might be pulling that in as well. Make sure that you're taking a moment to tune in and see if there isn't someone trying to get your attention in the corner. I saw 2 rings. I saw 2 diamonds. There could be love. There could be a proposal. There could be a contract opportunity coming forth as well. It's not obvious. It may not be what it seems to be. Don't look simply for that outward success. Anyway, for a yes, no, this is a yes. But really tune in, especially if you are talking to someone else. What do they want? Are they happy? Take a moment to really tune in to others and also to yourself as well. That's everything for this month. Wow, it was kind of magical today. So thank you so much for allowing me to be the channel to bring forth all of those messages. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow and it lets me know that you enjoyed this. You can follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all channels. Remember, I do not offer private readings and I do not send direct messages. So if somebody does that, block and report. There is something on Instagram called a channel, broadcast channel. That's a little different when you just react to it. But if someone is directly messaging you and you can message them back, that is a sign of something that you want to be mindful of and don't engage, okay? That being said, if you want to send love and support here on YouTube, you can do it through super stickers, super chats, memberships, and sometimes even in a comment, you can boost it as well. I look at all of those. I always try to put a heart on them, and I just want to say thank you in advance. That helps me, especially as I'm starting to rebuild my supplies since they were all lost. So from my heart to yours, I appreciate it. With that being said, thank you for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube. Your love, your support, your enthusiasm, and just the fact that you spend time with me here, it means the world to me. I wish you all the best. I'll see you again. Remember, I'm here every Sunday for a live stream at 9:15 a.m. Pacific time, so I hope to see you on the next one as well. Take care.